Welcome to Akhand Desham, the first institute of impeccable wisdom. Let's discuss what Katyani, the sixth day of Durga Puja, the inner heat of Visudhi Chakra. The divine declaration: whenever there is decline in dharma, I take birth in Bharat to eliminate evil and righteousness and re-establish divine design of nature. In that connection, I see reincarnation as a stage of every human being being born to become the custodians of the world. It has to go through many births and births again to come to Devyank level, the divine design of nature, maybe hundreds of janmas. Now comes the question of Goddess Durga. She was created by divine nature to eliminate demons and free the three spheres of the universe. And in the process, when she was created in the form, she had 18 arms. And I want people to understand why these pictures of gods and goddesses have different arms, different shapes and other things, because they represent the wisdom of Vedas and Upanishads as such clearly with the divine mathematics and complete symbolic representation they should be. So, in my opinion, Adi Parashakti or Goddess Durga, as she was created to represent only the periodic table, this is a perfect explanation of mathematics in chemistry. Now look at this particular picture. You have number 7 in the period. You can see the red spot on the left side, which has got 7 levels only. That means 0 is made into 1, 1 into 7 thing is a 7 part of the earth, 7 part of Antariksh, 7 parts of heaven. So put together there is a divine mathematics in that. When it comes to the group, you have 18 groups on one side. So she represents all the things which are there. But in the first period, you have only 2, hydrogen and helium alone. But in the second one, you have 10, 8 plus 2. Then you go to the third, is 2 plus 8 plus 8 is 18. So this is the mathematics in, you can call, Goddess Durga Adi Parashakti. So having explained that, we will go on to see how things unfold as we move on. Then after killing the evils, asuras, Mahishasura, etc., she dissolved the body in the goddess Durga in the universe and came down to take rebirth as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari, and from there she has moved on to Trikuta mountain and meditating as Mata Vaishno Devi there as such. So this is the place of birth in Kanyakumari down, and Trikuta right at the top of Jammu and Kashmir, where you have, she is there. This is the Trikuta mountain, which I do believe is very clear. My birth was there. These 3 hills represent Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and they are the Trinity which represent Divyank. 22 by 21 is Lord Brahma's, 10 as Dasavatar Vishnu, and 0.33 is Panchbhuta of Lord Shiva. These 3 things have made me realize that everything is divine mathematics, and 1.61803 is like Dattatreya. I think that is the divine mathematics in that particular place as such. Then come to the question of Mata Vaishno Devi. Inside the temple you have 3 pindis or stone images. The one is a white color, Mahasaraswati, which represents the goddess of knowledge, and she is the consort of Lord Brahma. Center is Mahalakshmi, which is saffron color, golden, like golden color of goddess wealth, prosperity, etc. She is the consort of Vishnu. Then Mahakali, the goddess of Moksha, which is black statue, she represents as the consort of Lord Shiva. And that's where I understand Durga, Mata Vaishno Devi, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Dattatreya. These are all the gods which I explained. There is a mathematics in everything which they have. Even the color of each pindi, white, yellow and black, also represent the wisdom which is required to take it to divine mathematics. Then come to the question, Dattatreya, this is exactly the statue of Mata Vaishno Devi under the Pindis, and I have already explained that clearly. Then come to the question of the 10 Mahavidyas, which different people, but I see them as the 10 forms of Goddess Durga's as she ascends again from as a Kanyakumari to Vaishno Devi to the higher levels of consciousness. You are going to see that as such. Mother Vaishno Devi, incarnate goddess, I told you, but she is represented with 8 arms, you can see. That means she represents oxygen, the Agni Bhuta. And that is what she is trying to go from Agni Bhuta, from oxygen to helium or neon 21. When neon 21 has got 10 protons and 10 electrons, and you're going to see as we move on. Now, Goddess Durga, Goddess Gayatri is represented with 10 electrons. She represents inert matter of neon 21, 10 protons, 11 neutrons, and 11 are 10 electrons. These 10 plus 11 plus 10 is equivalent to 31, divided by 3 is exactly near 10.344. That is the stage of development you can see in Goddess Gayatri's neon 21 itself. Now the first version, her coming down to the rebirth as Vaishnavi in Kanyakumari and starting as a Mata Vaishnavi in Katra, Trikuta, and how she evolves in stages. The first stage, first day is Shalputri. She is the daughter of Himalaya. That means she represents ice. That is a solid form of water or energy or universal consciousness or universal solvent water or Amrit is all about. And that's why she is the first Mahavidya, and represent as a solid earth as a 38.1968% only as Mooladhara Chakra, where she happily sleeps and doing things from there, and then during every day, and I do not say this, only 10 days during this time she wakes up. Every day she goes through the process. As I go through the process, I sleep in Mooladhara Chakra. When I wake, I go to Swadhisthana Chakra and go to the stage where I ever want to work. So I move step by step. And same thing is there in Mata Vaishno Devi. She evolving from Mooladhara Chakra to the higher level, and it depends, and that only she will be able to reach that level. I can see and feel and experience within me, because I am her, you can literally call, sits in her lap only. I make it very clear. She is my divine mother. She is the one who has taught me, and I evolve every day the way she has evolved. Now that is water element, which I have explained very clearly. Then comes to question. This is the Sat Chakra Nirupan's picture with Lam as the sound and 4 things. Akhand Vidyashram and neuroscience as such is something where you can see 7 layers of Mother Earth is there, and she is represent Mother Earth, and solid element are the ice of Himalaya kingdom. Then come to Brahmacharini is the second day of Durga Puja, that shows very clearly she has to a representation of the greatest character. A Brahmachari is a person who is evolving beautifully. It's a great character. It is nothing to do with sex, but at the same time it's sportive by sexuality, because males are supported by testosterone and female by estrogen. Estrogen makes you to brain. Even testosterone has to be converted in estradiol through aromatization for evolution. But she is already estrogen. She represents, her coming down and then rising again is much more effortless. That's the reason she represents higher consciousness. I would call all the women by and large are 61.8034% of the 100% consciousness, where males are only 38.19966% only. When put together only, they become complete like Ardhanarishwari. When Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Saraswati as one part, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, Mahakali as another part, when these 6 come together only, then they become greatest creation, the greatest sustainer, greatest thing. And that is what Divyanki is all about. Entire universe is designed with that. And that is what it is. For every intelligence, you need testosterone, estrogen as such. women are already in estrogen, men have to convert testosterone in estrogen. In the spiritualization, she has to come down, whereas men have to go up. And this is the representation of Satchakra Nirupana on the left side, Akhand on one side, and neuroscience on the other side. And this is what I'm talking about. Ojas is testosterone, is converted into Tejas, estradiol. Then when estrogen is moving up, it goes through the space around the brain and spinal cord called Vani Nadi, which is within the Sushumna Nadi. And that's the Ojas becomes this. And I think this is where Satchakra Nirupana also is very clear. And Shibhushan Sharma is also clear. Once you experience that only, then you can rise in intelligence as such. Otherwise, not at all possible. Only people with perfect character, Brahma Achar, with the abundance of testosterone and estrogen, only are capable of becoming intelligent. Superpower, power in muscles, power in mind, power in thoughts, power in intuition, intelligence, everything is only the people who have abundance of ojas and tejas. Let that be very clear. But third one is Chandrakanta. Third day of Durga Puja is the Agni element. First is the solid, second is the water, third is the Agni, the fire element in Nabhi Chakra, which is the third stage. And this is a picture you can see. One person who reaches the Nabhi Chakra very clearly, he will survive come what may. That is the emergency survival gland, and adrenal gland plays that role very well. It can give you water, it can give you sodium, it can give you glucose, it can give you testosterone, it can give you sympathomimetic hormones too, which are absolutely essential for rising, and that is what it is. Muladhara Chakra with a balance of autonomic nervous system as such. In Swadhisthana is sacral parasympathetic, but in Nabhi it is a combination of sympathetic starting rising up again to protect you come what may. And I make it very clear, all spiritual evolution is associated with sympathomimetic hormones like adrenaline and noradrenaline only, catecholamines. Then comes to fourth stage of Kushmanda, the fourth day of Durga Puja. This is the science of Manipura Chakra, which is not in Satchakra Nirupana, but this is a digestion which focuses on the lower 6 vertebrae or thoracic region, which are responsible for digestion. For that matter, four objective of digestion is ingestion, digestion, absorption, assimilation and excretion. All the five when taking place, that concentration is in Kushmanda, Durga and Manipura as such. Once that is understood, then you can go on to the next stage much more easily. And this is the way I have shown there is nothing in Satchakra but this center about liver, digestive system, pancreas as such put together, responsible for digestion, is going to give you water, elements, glucose, everything required for sustenance. Then Kaskat Manda, yesterday the fifth day of Durga Puja, is what Vayu or air element. Solid, water, Agni and Agni. Now coming to the Vayu or air element, they are going to rise again. Only when Agni is increases, the water is converted into fire and then to ascension, and then it has to convert into Vayu as it starts moving up. When you start bringing to Vayu, you literally talk in terms of gases separately. Water as hydrogen as this, and here becomes of the Anhata Chakra. Somewhere along you realize that you come to the next stage of Vayu at a much higher level, and that's the endocrine glands also give you the immunity to make sure whatever it is. Although medical science says that thymus gland deteriorates with age, I do not believe. I am 70 plus, but my immunity is as perfect as when I was a young child. And it's the way we take our food, which is pure vegetarian, no alcohol, no smoking, no drinking, no medicine, and living a perfect brahmacharya life as a Shuddha Brahman. Only then you will have no problem with thymus gland. no problem with immunity, no problem with anything. And I have experienced that even during COVID. For 4 days with COVID patients, spend money to see, I could not find even single change within me. And I think that is what it was all. The nature has given you, provided you take care of your health, then there is no problem. Problem was only the people who are suffering from psychosomatic disorders or health diseases or lifestyle diseases like hypertension, diabetes, etc., where the system was not perfect. And I want everybody to have their perfect homeostasis throughout. And Hatha plays a very important role in absorbing oxygen, other thing. Also heart distributing everything to the body as perfectly. And that's it. And then Skandmother divine of 6 heads, I do that. But this is what I realize, that this also represents photosynthesis, which produces oxygen gas. Now I have shown that prana is the thing when absorption of oxygen is taken, and 61.8034% carbon dioxide is released, and explain the whole thing in this particular thing. Okay, this is what it is all about, and Vayu alone. Now we are going to talk of the subject for the day is Katyayani, the 6th day of Durga Puja. This is where I realize that we started from solid element as an ice in Muladhara, then liquid or flowing liquid in Swadhisthana, then Agni in Nabhi, Agni in Manipura, then Vayu in that, and the same thing now coming to the 5th level of heat energy. Now comes to energy, which is inner heat. Let's that be very, very clear. And that is associated with Visudhi Chakra. That is a stage she has to, because she has to go up higher and higher in the consciousness. Everyday future. Let me not tell you, for I see that only this, but I do know these days have made me to explain things systematically because people are interested in doing that. Now this particular picture comes to right hum with 16 letters is with Swadhisthana, is Vishuddhi Chakra, and second one is my work of Vakhan, and I associate both of them with Neelakant as such. So that means Vishuddhi Chakra, Neelakant and concept on one side, and what is associated there is thyroid and parathyroid gland, and it's a center to detox and purification of the whole thing. You come to, so that your expressions are perfectly normal. Everything is heat. You know, you are expressive. You are like a walking, talking encyclopedia. When it comes, only when you come to Vishuddhi Chakra, your throat is purified, your thyroid is purified, and then I'm going to explain what is there in this particular Vishuddhi Chakra, which is unique in the 5th level of energy as such moving up. Now, Vishuddhi Chakra as such chakra nirupana is concerned, it is the base of the throat gland, and this mantra is hum. There are 16 patterns. Now, many people might say there are only 7 vertebrae, why can be 16? But actually there are 16 nerves, that means 8 pairs of nerves are there from cervical region. One of the vertebrae is converted into hyoid. So actually there are 8, which are now 7 plus 1. This again a mathematics. And then it is with the Chandra mantra, and same thing, other thing I will not go into detail, but something you can see very clearly is that Sadashiva is with this thing, and it's also the picture Ardhanarishri. Only when you come to that particular stage you realize that both male and female part are within that, and that is important. And that is what Vishuddhi Chakra is talked about in Satchakra Nirupana. I agree, it was fantastic work. Now the same thing I have converted into science. I converted into thyroid gland and parathyroid gland and planet with Mars, throat region, 6 cervical vertebrae, missing hyoid bone, 16 cervical nerves, hormones are thyroid, and parathyroid for calcium, serum calcium hydrosmosis, larynx for vocal sound processing, and center of tapasya again is heat only. Why tapas is used? Is only tapasya mean heat, and I think that is what meditation comes to play. It has to increase the energy as we move up. You cannot be in a solid ice form or water alone or agni alone, burning alone. you have to be Vayu, but then you got to go to heat energy which is going to transform you to higher levels of consciousness. Once comes that. Then come to the question, I've shown the thyroid and parathyroid are there in the throat, and you can see the anatomy and physiology very clear, and that is where you have literally number. Then absorption of calcium and phosphate, which is also in deviant ratio, and also parathyroid hormone, how the calcium is mobilized from digestive system to blood, blood to the bones, and all the three systems including kidneys come to play a role in that formation. And I think that's clear. You can see in detail in my earlier videos, so that this particular concept is known very well, so that finally you understand what's the calcium homeostasis. Then you have a calcium concentration of 10 milligram remain as it is, and the role of thyroid and parathyroid you can see in this picture very clearly. Then come to the question of divine design of thyroid gland, which I am going to show you as we go on. Now I am going to give you the picture where I do believe Vedas are the perfect, so are the Upanishads. But there are also scriptures which are written as Puranas, the story form, which people call it mythology. But I do know it is not mythology, it is science, which people do not understand is their failures. So in this Visudhi Chakra, I am going to show with the Nilkant something for the world to understand what is intelligence, what is brahmachar, what is testosterone, what is estrogen, how you think when you are in tune with universe consciousness. That's what the Brahmins who wrote Puran of this particular thing, Samudra Manthan, were the greatest thing. And one of the examples which I am going to discuss for the sake of the benefit, that please do not call Veds, Upanishads or Puranas a babbling of infancy civilization or infantile civilization or of the animals of different nature. Just because you don't understand, you cannot rewrite or say something against Veds and Upanishads or Puranas. They are the wonderful, as a matter of fact, I am changing the entire divine mathematics, physics, chemistry, biology and medical sciences or the entire universe based on the knowledge I got from Ved, Upanishad and Puranas, with all the symbolic pictures of Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Dattatreya, Saraswati, Mahalakshmi, and all the gods for that matter. The one god which is most important in Rig Veda is Agni only. And that's it. Now in this particular thing you are going to see how things fell and how things were recovered from the ocean. Descent of element, as I told you, all these things came down, and then the water, rain, etc. is again, Indra is also like god of water, and rain came down, and everything is very clearly explained as a descent of elements, like a descent of goddess Durga. Exactly what 18 is again coming down. But here the one which brings it down is water. That's the reason water gets a very significant role in Ved, Upanishad and Puranas. Now come to the question, Sagar Manthan. Then this is where everything has calmed down. Now you have both Asuras and Suras put together to get Amrit again. When they want Amrit, immortal life, remain, and they had to get it from ocean only. All life started from ocean, including mineral kingdom, plant kingdom, animal kingdom, and the human being. How have evolved from water in the ocean only. And once that is said, then everything appeared the way it had to appear in a very scientific way. There are 14 things which I explained, but I do know everything is there from Sagar Manthan only. So one of the things which we are going to take about and explain how beautiful were those Brahmins who wrote Ved, Upanishads and Puranas. Now in this particular picture you can see the Nilkant very clearly. What is the cryptal science of blue throat? Is it a mythology or thing? We are going to talk about it. Now this is what the churning is, how the things were done, and as the churning is done, that there from the ocean blue black vapor started coming up. When the blue black vapor started coming up, they started killing everybody. So everybody got scared, and then they approached Lord Shiva to take it so that the things could become perfectly and nobody. But many people think this is a story, it's a poison, something, but no, it's a pure science, something which Every scientist has never understood, nobody has understood, but everything we need to understand so that you don't make the mistake in modern mathematics, physics, chemistry, science, biology and other things. It's all there in Puranas. It is only for the people who are intelligent, who are in tune with universal consciousness, they will understand. People who have not even started reflecting on the wrong and right. When you are reading only as a copyright what is given in school, college, university, research, even oval laureates are only doing that. So you are making the same mistake of copycat, thinking what is past written by scientists is right. But they forget real scientists were the rishis who wrote Ved, Upanishads and scriptures. Now come to the question of this is that I say in the first period there is no halogen. But this place we are going to talk about halogen. So first halogen comes in period 2 of fluoride with a 9, second chloride with 17, the third bromine with 35, fourth with iodine 53 and 6 as astatine as 85. Now these are the things which are just before the inert table, and how these atoms becomes ions in form, and 9 becomes 10, 17 becomes 18, 35 becomes 36, 54 become 53 become 54, 85 become 86. You literally come to the divine consciousness, which I call is the home divine mathematics, the soul by and large. So literally fluorine is to become 10, become like goddess Gayatri. And as far as chlorine is concerned, 17 ionic form is going to become 18, is like goddess Durga or Adi Prashakti. Let's leave it at that. Now come to question, iodine, iodide and electrons are 53. This become 54 in ionic form. Let that be very clear. Atoms, when they convert into ionic form, this iodine 53 become 54 electrons as such. Now comes to electrons. Now come to the hala, the poison. Blue violet poison started churning of the ocean and was killing everybody. Then Lord Shiva was asked to drink. He started drinking, and I started drinking. Goddess Parvati put a snake around the neck, and this particular thing. Now many people say whatever, I do not want to get into details of all the people who call it mythology. Is not my work at all. My work is to bring the perfect divine mathematics into the picture. Now I am going to explain the science which everybody has missed. Hala is the poison, is the iodine, which are 53 elements, and when it is heated, as you can see in the picture, it becomes blue violet, which is actually brown color become blue violet. That is what science we know it. So in that form you can see, and this is the iodine tincture as such, or iodine as such. Now I am going to show you iodine kills as an antimicrobial. Tincture of iodine is the first aid everywhere. Povidone iodine bath is before surgery required to kill all the organisms from outside, so we do not suffer from any infection thereof. I think that modern science has done a wonderful job to show how to explain this Neelkant as such clearly. I think this is the first evidence to say it is iodine, it can kill, and it can also protect you from infection, from other infection, make you perfect human being. And this is one example. Second thing is, when it is taken into the inside, it goes into thyroid gland, and it is a tapping of iodine in thyroid gland is important by what Parvati is keeping a snake around the neck, so that it should go into that is a symbolic representation, nothing other than that. And I think that should be explained. In those pictures there is a lot of wisdom, but wisdom is only meant for people who are looking at the wisdom with a divine knowledge or intelligence, not for somebody who is just taking it as a symbolic copy of something else. So in spiritual evolution, whether it is the goddess Durga, Mata Vaishno Devi, or Shiv Bhushan Sharma, or all of us, we have to eliminate defects, imperfection one by one. Only then we can rise to the higher level. So this is a very clear at this particular stage. It is a tapping of iodine thyroid gland, and what it does, I am going to explain to you now. When you take this iodine in the blood, it goes inside, and with the thyroglobin, and this put together they form thyroid and thyroxine hormone. As such, this process is very clear. Iodine plus thyroglobin with the tysin, thyroglobin is finally converted into thyroid hormone, and the objective of thyroid hormone is what we are going to see now. Now, most of the people think that prime function of thyroid hormone is BMR, basal metabolic rate, calorigenic, diabetogenic, etc. And I do not agree with that. It is not calorigenic, it is not BMR, it is not diabetogenic, it is thermogenic. You can see the picture there. As in iodine in the form in thyroid hormone goes to mitochondria, it does not produce ATP. It produces heat element, and it breaks down triglyceride and break down the protein product to convert into heat, and that is what is essential. It is thermogenic, not calorigenic, not BMR, another thing. I think this is science also needs to change there. The thyroid hormone is for heat, not, and that is what I said. You have moved on to this particular stage. We concentrate all the 10 days of Mata Vaishnavi evolution from to the 10th day is only on Tantra Vidya. Again, it is only about the something which Lord Shiva explained to Vaishnavi in Amarnath, and I am very clear on. Once that is understood, we will know right at the time. Most of the effective thyroid hormones are secondary to its calorigenic effect and also thermogenic effect. The one before that, resulting increased metabolic rate, increases thermogenesis. That is more important. And you can call it calorigenic as an energy form more. I have no problem on that part. But remember, it is heat. Now come to the question of evidence, of scientific evidence. You have hypothyroidism when thyroid hormone is less. You have intolerance to cold. And when very high levels of thyroid, hyperthyroidism, you have intolerance to heat. The person who is a perfect heat within the throat, thyroid and parathyroid, would not feel cold during winter, will not feel hot during summer. For him, whether summer or thing is as comfortable. Now, I do not need air conditioner in summer, nor do I an AC or during winter. So I can be very, very comfortable both, because you need a perfect thyroid hormone. You should have like Neelkant, and once that is understood, is very, very clear. In the process, all the psychological effects which are closely associated with Visudhi Chakra, thyroid, will not be there at all. I think that is another way. Psychologically, you are also improving to a better person, and none of them. You have the thyroid hormone and you have sympathomimetic hormone to the level that it will not give you tachycardia, it will not give you panic attack, but it will give you all the things required as you move on, because intelligence is again sympathomimetic only. It is not a problem, but you have to use it systematically so that body is not at all affected. And all the people who have increased adrenaline and noradrenaline have a psychological problem, but that is only for people who are intolerant and who do not have take care of everything perfectly. Let's take it that way. Then come to the question of the same picture where I've seen how thing goes, and as a result the blue throat will make sure that you have no problem whatsoever. And same thing in this picture is very clear. Once you have the perfect thing, now up to this particular stage you have come to Visudhi Chakra, which is literally the 6th level in according to Akhand, and 5th level according to Satchakra Nirupana. You have come to the stage that you have the solid ice element, the water, the liquid, Ganga, then Agni, heat, then little more heat, then Vayu, and then to this particular stage. You are moving up. Once you are moving up step by step, and once you have done that step by step, eliminating all the defects from lower to the higher, step by step, only that person will go. The person who does not even know what is the perfect tea, how to be calm and quiet, sleep comfortable without alcohol, without drugs, is the first thing which I say. If you have to sleep with that, that means your whole system is fundamentally wrong at the bottom itself. And someone who does not understand the beauty of testosterone at the second level, and it's a brahmachar not to be anything other than that. This is where I go on record to say almost all the tantrics in the world, they center around sex, and I feel sorry for them. They don't understand that you have been given testosterone and estrogen for that, not for any sexual activity, the activities which go on all the centers of. Maybe that is the reason I do not teach anybody, I don't get involved, I maintain distance from everybody. I lead a perfect life because there is nothing required to be taught in person, things like that. This is something everybody has to learn on their own. That's a beauty. Then you have to develop adrenal gland, you have to develop the pancreas gland, that you have to thymus gland, and you have to thyroid and once you move up and slowly, and then you go into higher and higher levels of subtle and subtle as you're going to go evolution. Literally you have come down, then rising step by step, but you have to do every step systematically. That is what I'm trying to show, how Tantra and Mahavidyas and Mata Vaishno Devi and Shibhushin Sharma, for all that every human being has to go through this process to reach Divyank level. Having done that, I think enough for the day. Thank you very much. We are going to see the next stage, next stage, next stage. That is evolution, education, enlightenment, empowerment, and that is what is required to take you to the universal consciousness of Divyank. You are going to see. But without even sport of all has to be systematically step by step from down. You cannot miss anything. You have to be a perfect in all the 64 arts and sciences. I would say Sahasrara Chakra is 1024, and all the brain, every part of the brain should be perfect, integrated, they should be perfectly healthy, and as a result you should not even have one small thing in your life. No non-vegetarian food, no alcohol, no drugs, nothing at all. Only food properly which is required for the human being as a perfect fructivorous, not as a carnivorous, not as a herbivorous. Once that is done, you understand the human being, and only then those people can rise. Even one mistake in the process will not let you go to Divyank. And I am very clear. This is a journey of purification, and there is no compromise there. There's nothing separate everybody has to go the same process, because that is what divine design is. Only the one who's flowing with the nature with perfection at every level can reach that, otherwise not possible. So difference is, only one person who reached that level is Shibhushin Sharma, because he's followed all the rules step by step, and all the things which were giving him problem he eliminated, realized they were creating a problem for that. And if he has reached, and I'm sure everybody can reach, provided you understand importance of every aspect of hormones, homeostasis perfectly. And I think that's enough for the day. Thank you very much.